अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
QS and THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरे राजा।
Some places feel like they've been waiting for you, where every piece speaks of legacy, from diamonds that celebrate ambition to festive gold that honors tradition. LD Sons.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जीरा सिप MDH का जीरा सिप।
There it is. Yeah,
There it is. The car's moving.
That's good.
Amazing. Thank you.
And I know that.
Ricky Kej just called me introvert.
No,
Absolutely true.
After we win the award, the Prime Minister meets all of the relatives of the award winners. When he met the award winners, he comes to me and he tells me, तेरी मम्मी अभी मिली मुझे वहाँ पर।
अच्छा।
और वो चिल्लाकर बोल रही थी कि मैं रिकी की माँ हूँ। And then he told me that ऐसा ही गर्व होना चाहिए माता पिता को।
Hello, good evening and welcome. This is the short form of the debate today. Some stories are driven by purpose, some by passion. But almost all stories that you see, which are success stories, are driven by that one thing: tenacity and absolute commitment. But more than that, such people who have these brilliant stories are people who have thrown themselves into what they do out of the sheer joy of doing it. Welcome to Mercedes-Benz Presents The New Business of Life. In this series, we're going to be looking at people who have done remarkable things, been trailblazers, had stories that were undefined and which cannot be put together in any definite construct of career advancement. These are the trailblazers. These are people I'm going to have to not study or research to talk to about, but I'm going to learn from them. And I really look forward to bringing you this series. Today, my friend Ricky Kej is joining me. Who doesn't know Ricky Kej? 3-time Grammy Award winner. Wherever he goes, he doesn't just take his music with him. Ricky Kej is an ambassador of India, rooted in its past and yet not transient but completely into the present. Ricky Kej is not just a friend of mine, but I think I consider him someone who defines the new India. Ladies and gentlemen, in the first episode of this series, Mercedes-Benz Presents The New Business of Life. Welcome, Ricky Kej. Ricky, how are you?
So good to see you.
I hope you're having a great time on our campus.
It's an absolutely beautiful campus.
You like the campus?
Absolutely, it's amazing.
How have you been?
Very, very good. Just happy to be here today.
We'd like to say something to everyone right at the start about this. We say the new business of life. What is the new business of life? What is life for Ricky Kej right now?
I guess it's always been about making music, making more and more music.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm speaking about it and trying to, in my own small, tiny capacity, make this world a better place through music.
Yeah. And how do you call yourself, define yourself, Ricky? Are you a musician? Do you see yourself as a cultural ambassador of the country? Do you carry the weight of 3 Grammys very heavily or lightly on your shoulders?
No, I've just been very fortunate to get critical acclaim for my music, and I always believe that all of this acclaim is a platform for doing bigger and better things, because all of my music has got some sort of a purpose.
Yeah.
And I believe that these critical acclaims and these awards help me spread that message further and wider, and also help me spread my music also further and wider.
Last time we met, we were at the Bharat Mandapam, and you were performing at
your beautiful event,
Republic annual conclave, and I just found the crescendo, the excitement, the energy levels rising so amazingly. And as you were performing, everybody just came down there and started being part of the performance, right?
No, it's amazing, because I'm a completely different person on stage and off stage.
Are you?
That's what I always believe. Yeah, because I'm actually quite an introverted person. I'm quite socially awkward. But somehow when I'm on stage, everything just changes, And I just want to entertain the audience. I want to make sure that they have a good time. And also I want them to resonate with the messages that I'm trying to, communicate through my music.
I quite identify with you. I was
Actually,
people say I'm a different person on stage because I'm much nicer off the stage, they say.
I've noticed that.
But I don't know if I'm socially awkward.
Okay.
Really. Why do you call yourself socially awkward?
I guess because when I'm in large crowds, especially at parties and all of that stuff, since I don't drink and I don't smoke, and so I don't partake in the sort of like in the norms of what would constitute a party. That's why I'm always awkward. I'm always standing in a corner with a soft drink in my hand, and and trying to make conversation.
That's another side of Ricky Kej. I wish we'd known about earlier, but I feel quite the same actually.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because you're very into what you do. I found that when you were performing, you were into the moment very, very deeply. And there was one moment when you started like jumping up and up like this. I saw that and I realized that he's got some anti-gravity shoes there going on. But you were lifting yourself up. The music was lifting you up, right? So in that moment, you're very much party animal, but perhaps an introverted party animal. What happens to you during a concert?
I guess because the music making process itself has got that dichotomy, because you're sometimes in front of 20,000 people, 40,000 people performing. Right. But the music making process itself is just me alone in a studio for hours and days together, just sitting down in a dark room and making music. And so I enjoy both those aspects of it, sitting down alone in a very peaceful way, making music, and then later on performing this music to like thousands of people all over the world.
Yeah.
Just last year, for example, in 2024, I did more than 70 concerts in 30 countries.
Yeah.
So I love that aspect of it, but I also like the aspect of sitting alone and actually creating the music.
Yeah, wow. Let's talk a little bit more upstairs.
Yeah, sure, let's do that.
So Ricky, let's sit down and have a chat before we get into the car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today. Yeah, let's sit in the balcony, taking in the little bit of the autumn sun, as they say, the autumn sun of Noida.
Yeah.
Here's for you.
This location itself is quite amazing.
You travel like a lot.
Yeah.
You're living out of a suitcase how many days in a month?
So I'm at home about 6 or 7 days a month. I'm grateful for the 6 or 7 days because I get to spend time with my dogs.
6 or 7 days, that's all?
That's it, yeah. Otherwise I'm always on the road, always traveling.
Is that a tough life?
So the thing is that every time I travel and I go through an airport,
I
always wonder that why am I doing this to myself? Why am I doing this to my body? But then when I go to the other end and the concert goes off well, then your brain tends to forget about all the hardships and we just wonder that, when are we going to do this again? So that's what happens to me all the time. I just end up forgetting all the hardships and, I just celebrate.
Life is also about keeping a balance between your work, your body, your mind, your soul, your personal and your professional. So I wondered, 25 days a month on the road, right, Ricky? So how do you keep your personal discipline? Like I like to keep my routine,
Correct.
I give my routine to my office like 1 week in advance and again 24 hours in advance. And I like to know what I'm doing every minute. Do you lead a structured life? Are you disciplined about your habits like you?
Actually, you know what, because I've been a professional musician for the last, I think, 26 years now.
Yeah.
And for me, I've not had this whole problem of work-life balance because and for that same reason, I've never taken a holiday in the last 26 years simply because
Welcome to the club.
Because and I'm sure you'll agree with me that I felt that I've been on a 26-year holiday.
Yeah, I know.
Because I love what I do, and people tell me that why don't you go to this island destination or why don't you go to this hill station, spend a couple of days. But then I wonder what am I going to do over there? I'm going to end up taking my whole studio there and sitting over there and making music. So my idea of a holiday, like if I've got a few hours of free time or a day free, my idea is just to sit at home and relax and not go through an airport and not have to pack a bag and not have to travel,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tiring.
Yeah, it is very, very tiring, and doing that on a holiday, I'm doing that just for a holiday does not make any sense for me.
So you were saying, who's at home right now? Tell me about your parents. Your parents have had a great impact on your life. And
Absolutely.
every time you get a chance, I see you talking about them whenever I read up about you, about
Correct.
what they have done to make Ricky Kej, right? So tell me, how were you as a kid? What's your family background like? And
So my dad's a Marwadi, he's from Rajasthan, from Churu.
Yeah.
And my mom's a Punjabi, and from Punjab, but lived in Mumbai for most of her life.
Yeah.
And she's a huge, huge, huge fan of yours, and I'm very grateful that
We
the
spoke
last
to
time we met, you made a video for her, and she was
she
thrilled.
was so wonderful. And
She was thrilled.
I just want to tell everyone watching this that last time we were at the Bharat Mandapam and Ricky was there, he was performing, and he said, I have one request, will you talk to my mom?
Yeah.
And then we had a video call with
Yes,
her
yes.
that time, right?
Absolutely.
And she was so loving.
No, she was amazing, and she watches your show every night and all of that stuff. So she's a huge fan. And yeah, so my father is a doctor. He's a very passionate doctor. He's about 83 or 84 right now. And he still goes to the clinic for about 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
He still practices even during the COVID pandemic. He would see up to 100 patients a day. And
Amazing.
of course, that was a huge problem for us because he would have to isolate from my poor mom during the entire pandemic. But he was very adamant that, you know.
He was doing his work.
Yeah, he said
it was
that.
his duty.
Exactly. He said that if I'm not going to do my duty now, when the world needs me the most and when my country needs me the most, then what's the point of me being a
What
doctor?
were you doing during the How was it to be locked up for you during the pandemic?
I was
How-
making music.
You were making music?
Yeah, because,
Like were you in your own studio, your own world? Did you do it remotely? Did you talk to people?
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is that I'd won my first Grammy in 2015 for an album that I made called Winds of Samsara. And for the next 7 years, there was always the desire to make a follow-up to that. But because of my touring schedule, it was impossible for me to sit down in a focused manner and make an album. But then when the pandemic hit in 2020, that presented itself as an unfortunate opportunity for me to sit down at home and create new music. And that is how my next album, Divine Tides, was born. And I got to collaborate with the great Stuart Copeland for that album. I reached out to him in Los Angeles. I've been a childhood fan of his, and I had posters of him on my wall while growing up. So that is how big a fan of his that I was.
Stuart Copeland. Stuart Copeland is the former drummer of the Police, and I'm sorry for the what do you call it? The present generation. If they
No, and
if
also-
they don't know about Stuart Copeland, but people like Stuart Copeland, people
Yeah.
like the Police, people like Billy Joel,
Yeah.
they are timeless, right? So
No, and Stuart has
Stuart
been-
Copeland was the drummer of the Police, and you approached him
Correct. And
for your second Grammy.
yeah, for my next album.
Yeah, for your next album.
And he, numerous publications has called him the greatest drummer in the history of music and all of that stuff. So I approached him, and I still, even though we've shared a beautiful relationship right now and we finished 3 albums since then, I believe that he would have never worked with me if it wasn't for the pandemic, because even he was, you know, stuck at home in Los Angeles. So he agreed to take this journey with me and create this album. So him in Los Angeles, me in Bangalore, working remotely.
How do people create music when they are not physically together?
So there is
Where's the vibe? Don't you need to vibe together to do it?
So that is what we would speak to each other every single day. We would send each other messages, send each other pieces of music. We would record remotely, and I changed my sleep timings so that I could match his, because when it's AM over here, it's PM in Los Angeles. So I started sleeping in the daytime and working in the nighttime so that we would have instantaneous feedback with
Why
each
did
other.
you want to work with him alone?
I guess I was a huge fan of his. So it was a dream to actually work with him. So it was more about me trying to outreach what I could grasp. And I reached out to him, and I thought, what's the worst that's going to happen? He'll say no. But he did say yes, and it was a dream come true, as I said. And yeah, so up until then, whatever music I would make, I was in complete control of my music. And I would decide what would go into the song and what would not. But here I was working with a legend.
Yeah.
And so I'd made a very strong decision that how I'm going to work with a legend is that whatever he asks me to do, I'm just going to do it. Okay, whether I feel it is wrong or right, I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to live with that for at least 2 weeks. And at the end of 2 weeks, if I still feel what he asked me to do is wrong, then I'm going to voice my opinion. And there were about 40 or 50 times during the year that we made the album where I felt that this is not going to work. What he's suggesting is not going to work, or what he recorded is not going to work. But I would shut up, okay?
How would he convince you? Did he need to convince you?
No, I would just do it. I would just do whatever he would ask me to do.
Give me a real example of that.
Okay, it's like, for example, there was this particular song on the album. It was called Art of Devotion.
Art of Devotion.
Art of Devotion.
Okay.
So in this particular song, he played an actual drum set.
Right.
And I felt the drum set is too powerful for that kind of a song, which is a more meditative song. So I did not voice my opinion. He sent me the drum set recordings and I just put that into the song and I said that, okay. I mean, I thought to myself that I'll live with that for 2 weeks.
It was too overwhelming?
It was too overwhelming, it was too powerful. And he being a rock musician, I felt that he's probably taking it in the wrong direction. And so I did not voice my opinion. I kept it for 2 weeks. I listened to it for 2 weeks and at the end of 2 weeks, I fell in love with what he did. And I realized that sometimes, you know, we as artists and we as composers, we fall in love with our own ideas, so much so that we can't look at another perspective.
Yeah.
But when we live with that perspective for long enough, we start seeing things from that perspective.
Yeah.
And we start realizing that probably, you know, my vision of getting from point A to point B, my idea of getting from point A to point B was the wrong idea. And maybe somebody else achieved that that pathway for getting from point A to point B, and that's what would happen.
That's such a great lesson in life.
It is a huge lesson, and that happened many times, you know, where he would do something and I would feel that it is wrong, and then later on I would live with it for 2 weeks and I would realize in every single situation that the guy is a genius, you know, and he is achieving the vision that we are trying to reach in a much better fashion.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's the story of that amazing tie-up with Stuart Copeland and Ricky Kej, ladies and gentlemen. At that point, we are going to go down into that beautiful Mercedes EV that is waiting there for us. And I'm going to take you for a drive. We're going to go for a spin. I don't do this often, so I hope you trust my hand on the wheels today.
No, it will be an honor to sit with you in the car.
Let's take the
and
chat
be driven
forward.
around by Arnab.
Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you. I'll see
you.
you in a bit. Let's go there. Come. Okay, Ricky.
Yep.
Let's get into this wonderful drive that awaits us.
Yeah.
And we got this EQS EV of Mercedes, and I'm going to take you for a little spin.
Yeah, without any emissions.
Without any okay. Come on. Come. Let's go. So, I can't say that I'm the best person on the wheels, but it's entirely your risk.
I don't mind taking that risk.
You don't mind taking the risk, okay. Let's strap up. I tell you, Rick, this place where we are right now, this studio space in Noida, this is, I always tell people who have come here that this is like a new India, which is happening here right before us, you know. So, one second. Why am I not being able to switch on the car?
I think it is on. It's on.
It's on?
And then I think you just have to put it to drive.
Okay, thank you for helping me with this. Is it? No, it's not on. 1 minute.
Now it's on. Now it's on.
Now it's on. Okay. Put it to drive.
Yeah, and then hit the accelerator. Now it's on. Now you can hit the accelerator. Yeah. I think it should work. Let's see. Is it on drive?
It is on drive.
Just hit it down once. Yeah.
Okay,
Now
let's go.
hit
I
the
think it's. I think it's
Yeah.
go now. This is the amazing thing about these cars. Okay, shall we
There
go?
it is, yeah.
Okay, there it is. The car's moving.
That's good.
Amazing. So Ricky, I was saying to you that
Yeah.
this whole area,
Yeah.
where our campus is,
Correct.
which is in Noida, sector 158, is the new India.
Yeah.
A lot of India is being built up around this place.
Yeah.
We have companies around our area which are high-tech companies. There are companies which are working in the area of drone technology. There are companies which are working in the field of robotics.
Wow.
So a lot of new stuff is happening around
Yeah,
this
construction
area.
everywhere,
A
you
lot
know,
of
you see.
construction you
Yeah.
will find everywhere. A lot of open roads.
Yeah.
When I came in from Mumbai, I found this to be a remarkable change. The amount of space that I was suddenly seeing all around me.
Absolutely.
You know? The amount of openness.
Yeah.
I was not used to it.
Yeah.
I'm a cantonment boy. I grew up in cantonments, a lot of space. But last 15 years I was in Mumbai. So I don't know what this looks and feels like to you coming from
No, it's
Bangalore.
a lot of open space.
Yeah.
Lots of hope you can see around over here. Yeah.
Lots of hope, yeah. I think that's a good way of putting it.
Correct.
Yeah. Do you remember your growing up years in Bangalore? Tell
Yeah.
me about it.
Yeah, Bangalore I live in this place called Indiranagar in Bangalore.
Okay.
The place was pretty much in the middle of nowhere when I was growing up.
Okay.
Right now it's become the heart of the city. It's completely commercialized.
Yeah.
I remember we did not even have any neighbors, but now there are apartment buildings on all four sides of my house.
Yeah.
And lots of commercialization, some of the best restaurants, and very commercialized.
I love Koshi's in Bangalore.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's got a very nice vibe and a very old-time vibe.
Yeah.
I love Koshi's too. I just love sitting over there with a cup of coffee and conversing with people who come in over there, because everybody knows each other over there.
And you know everybody and everybody knows you.
Yeah, I mean that it's Bangalore at the end of the day.
So tell me about your school and college. Like, I was told you're actually a dentist.
That's something that I try to keep a secret.
You're a dentist.
But
I can't believe it.
I've always wanted to be a musician, and there was no doubt in my mind that I wanted to be a professional musician.
Yeah.
But my father is a third generation doctor and an Indian parent, as you know.
Okay.
And so he did not articulate it in his mind that I wanted to make music a profession, and he never thought that music could actually be a profession.
Okay.
So I mean, there was a lot of arguments in our family when I decided that I wanted to be a professional musician. A lot of drama at home.
Really?
And then we reached a compromise that I would finish off a degree in dental surgery, and once I got that degree, my parents would never question me again for the rest of their lives. So I went to 5 years of college. At the end of 5 years, I did not know anything about dentistry, but I got a degree. And
this is quite amazing, because I remember when I was doing my +2 and I was in Jabalpur.
Yeah.
I was studying in a Kendriya Vidyalaya.
Yes.
And I had this combination of physics, chemistry, biology, English and maths.
I had the same combination.
And I was
PCMB.
very bad in maths.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
I decided that since I did not understand elementary mathematics, I would turn it into philosophy. So I started saying things. I told my maths teacher once something like, they said I, so I said, tell me, what is the square root of I? And then when I was being told that I was being stupid, then I would try and give a very philosophical reply. So I lifted mathematics to the level of metaphysics.
Yeah, metaphysics.
I won't tell you how I almost failed. I think I failed in mathematics in class 12. I've never told anyone that before.
Wow.
I'm making a confession that I failed in mathematics in class 12. But I made up for it, because we were top best of 4,
Oh, okay, got it.
But my father also never insisted that I
was
should be a
nice.
doctor. I gave the medical entrance.
Yeah.
I got through the medical entrance, but my parents never pushed me to joining the medical college.
And they must be super proud of you now.
Yeah, they are very happy with me. But what about you? Did your parents? How did they react to your
musical
career?
So, while I was doing my dentistry, my musical career had already started professionally. I was already making money, and I'd become completely financially independent by the time I was in my third year.
So, what kind of music? What kind of gigs?
I used to play in rock bands at that time. It was primarily rock bands and heavy metal bands and things like that. What college kids are used to. So we would travel around India with the band to various college festivals and things like that. And we had become pretty popular at that time. The band was called Angel Dust. Angel Dust, yeah.
And who were you idolizing?
So at that time, I did not know the meaning of Angel Dust. Angel Dust is basically a drug, but I was not aware of it at that time.
I was not aware of it till now.
Thank
God you didn't call it something else, myth or something.
But much later, much later, I got to know.
Are you sure you didn't know?
No, I did not know, because I was 19 years old when I joined that band, and the second youngest person in the band was 28 years old. Okay. So I was like the baby in the band.
Okay. And what you were doing the
keyboards,
keyboards.
I was playing keyboards, and
you always done keyboards?
Yeah, I've always been a pianist / keyboardist.
Okay.
And then later on, I brought in a lot of technology into my music.
Okay.
A lot of softwares, a lot of computers and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I enjoy doing, and I love conducting orchestras and working with large ensembles. It's a variety of things. I love working with African choirs, love working with ethnic instruments from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
So all of these things find its way into my music.
Yeah.
And I believe that when I started off my musical career, I did a whole lot of commercials for television and radio.
Okay.
And including for Mercedes.
Even in college. Including for Mercedes.
Yeah. And that was mainly in college and a little bit after college, a few years after college.
Okay.
And I believe that was a good time in my career, because every day was a different challenge. Like, for example, yesterday I would have composed a Tamil folk jingle. today a hip hop jingle, tomorrow a heavy metal jingle. So I'm in touch with all of these different genres of music.
Yeah.
And and it's almost like an exercise, because when you go to a gym, the more you go to a gym, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
That's what I realized about music too, that the more I would compose music, the better I would get at it.
Yeah.
So it became a really good ancillary music education for me, doing these commercials and working with different professionals pretty much every day. So I love that part of my career.
Do you remember any particular jingle you did?
Yeah, I did a whole lot of jingles for.
How would you compose a jingle?
Oh, so
What was the moment of epiphany in these things like? How does it happen?
So the thing about composing for jingles is that it's not about getting extremely high on creativity. It's about being correct and wrong for a brand. And during those days when I was working on commercials, it was a lot of hard work, because I would wake up at 7 o'clock, get a brief from a client in India on an Indian brand, wrap that up by about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Then get a brief from a client in Europe, usually France or
That
Germany.
many clients? How old were you?
I started off doing jingles when I was 19 years old, and I continued till I was 32 years old. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I
You
did
were
a whole
like jingle man for 13 years, so obviously
Did more than
you
3,500
were very
of them.
good at it.
I was very good at it.
You must have made a big name in it.
Definitely.
And
I
there must
was-
be one particular jingle that was your moment of epiphany, like the one which gave you that big breakthrough moment after which you...
I did a lot of them. I mean, it's very difficult to remember
Any
those
particular
jingles.
ad?
Like almost all the TVS commercials from during that period of time.
Wow.
A whole lot of jingles for Vodafone, for Airtel, for
What did
McDonald's.
you like? What did you like about jingles?
It was about the challenge of working on a different jingle and a different genre of music every day.
Short form?
Also the short form nature of it, because you have to pack in a whole lot of stuff into 15 seconds or 30 seconds, so you understand the value of time, you understand the value of storytelling in a short duration of time. And I guess that's what also carried on into my music and my professional life, that I don't waste people's time when they're listening to my music. Because if a song needs to be 3 minutes or a song needs to be 2 minutes, it is 2 or 3 minutes. I don't unnecessarily elongate it and waste people's time when they're listening to my music. And it's the same with my concerts. My concerts are very concise.
I wish I could say the same. Hello, good evening and welcome. This is the short form of the debate today. I will have only one question and listen to the rest of it. Thank you, good evening and good night. I have this bad habit of going on and on and on and on and on. I have turned going on and on into an art form.
No, but that...
I just keep going on and on, and I keep getting into it. Like when I debate, I pick up a point, I pick up 3 points, and I make debate into a refined form of haranguement. I almost harangue people with my questions, but I enjoy it. No, I am into it, and I just said at the introduction that when I saw you do your music, what I love about you, and I'm going to play this video over this, is when you start jumping up and down. I mean, it happens naturally. So that jingle is a different form.
Yes.
What you do on stage now is different.
Absolutely, because jingle is restricted to the studio, and that's it.
That's recorded in the studio.
Recorded in the studio.
It's not shot,
and
there is no audience,
and you're not even credited.
So
for
what
it.
is the critical feedback you get? How do you know when there is a performance? Then you are performing. You're obviously absorbing the crowd, and you know whether it's working.
Correct.
How do you know whether a jingle is working? It's only the client.
It's only the client. It's only the client, and if they come back to you for another one, that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They come back to you for another one and they say that, okay, the previous one worked out.
Have you got rejected, Ricky?
Many times.
Rejected?
Many times. So, and that's the beauty also of composing music for other people, like what I was doing with jingles, is that when people are paying you thousands of dollars to actually create a piece of music, they're not going to mince their words when they do not like it. And that's how I developed a thick skin for feedback, and also started taking feedback constructively, because they're not against you personally when they do not like a piece of music that you've composed for them.
But it's so subjective, Ricky. It's so subjective.
No, it is subjective.
I mean, it's like someone, just coming and telling me, I didn't like your debate last night. And if you were to ask them, what did you not like? Well, I don't remember, but I think you were shouting too much. And that's a very subjective thing. If people don't know what you're shouting for, similarly, you must have your own moments of rejection.
Yes.
When you feel that the person rejecting you is maybe ill-informed. Does that happen?
No, see, at the end of the day, when I'm making music, I'm opening myself out to criticism, because I'm putting out my work out there. and people may like it, people may not like it. But what I feel is that when you're taking criticism constructively, we develop these mechanisms for understanding criticism. Like if I'm making a bhajan, let's say, and a heavy metal guy comes to me and says that that's a very slow song, then I know that I'm not supposed to take that, in the spirit that he meant it or she meant it, because they've got a different style of music that they particularly like. But sometimes, like for example, I put a flute melody into a song, and in the back of my head I'm wondering that should I have done that or should I have not done that, and then somebody gives me feedback that I'd not like that flute melody in there. Then immediately I know that all right, probably what they're saying is right, because I myself felt that way. So
you need a third party opinion sometimes?
Sometimes you do.
But tell me about a moment of rejection. Let me take you back, because I love anecdotal stuff. I want you to give me a throwback.
Yeah.
Because through this conversation with you,
yeah,
and through all these conversations that I'm going to have, I'm going to try and learn about life through the lens of other people. So
yeah.
I would like to ask you about any moment of rejection. I mean,
yeah.
Success comes easy. Everybody wants us to sit in this beautiful Mercedes car and talk about success. But I would say, what was rejection for you? Give me a moment of rejection. How you dealt with it.
So I guess I'm just wondering what could I talk about a moment of rejection. When it comes to commercials, there have been numerous times where I had to rework on commercials multiple times.
Yeah.
I cannot remember a single instance, because there have been many and they don't come to my mind really well. But when it comes
we
to...
just talked about Stuart there earlier, when he told you about something that you were doing which you felt was okay, but which was not, and later the changes that he made to your music grew on you. Similarly, was there a time when any client or business associate told you that the music you created?
Yeah, so an example of rejection, a funny example actually, is that there was this luxury clothing brand where the advertising agency came to me and said that we need to make a jingle for this. And it went to many, many iterations. I remember I gave them about 10 options, all of them were rejected, and they would not give me a reason for rejection. Then I told them that, why don't you ask the brand to speak to me directly and let them brief me. Maybe there can be some inspiration over there, because probably some stuff is lost in translation with the agency in between. So then the brand manager came to me and she told me that, what I want this jingle to sound like? I want it to sound like a mix of a tube light and a piano. And then I'm like, what? A tube light and a piano? And then, as you mentioned earlier, one has to get philosophical about it. And then I'm wondering, what does she mean by a tube light and a piano? Maybe the unsurety of a tube light, and maybe the grandness and the luxury of a piano. So that's what I did.
I feel sorry for you.
I created a piece of music on the piano, which had a lot of unresolved moments in the melody, and that's what I created. And it actually got approved, the piece of music. So, in music you have scales and you have rags. So what I did was that I created a piece of music using these principles, but with a lot of unresolved moments, where things were not tying in together and things were not closing in together. And she loved that, and that's what went on the luxury brand.
Wow.
So sometimes you have to get philosophical and you have to get into the psychology of the person who is trying to brief you, because they do not understand music, but they understand a different plane of thought, and you have to sort of get it from their perspective.
Yeah, but I think one of the things of as you live and you learn and you grow older and you learn, is to be able to take feedback.
Yes.
And not let however much you achieve, whatever you do in life, to be open to feedback.
Absolutely.
That may be consumer feedback, that may be a person's feedback, that may be a family person's feedback.
Exactly.
It can be anyone's feedback, really, So I think that's one thing of life, right?
Yeah, because right now I create music only for myself, and I create music that I believe that I like. Yeah. But at the same, even when you're creating that kind of music, you still need to take feedback.
Yeah.
Because you still need to know whether people agree with you or people disagree with you, or is this music being liked, or am I just being absolutely delusional?
Yeah.
So I believe that the most dangerous thing for an artist is to be delusional about their own art, and a lot of people end up becoming that way, where they feel that I'm creating this music which is absolutely wonderful, and why aren't people liking it,
Yeah.
And that is when people just become delusional about their own art.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, stars and celebrities are often delusional about things.
Yes.
Once I went to a Star.
Yeah.
And the Star was then about 42, 43 years old. That's about over 20 years back.
Okay.
Big Star. And I happened to ask the Star, what do you think about retirement?
Oh my God.
And
That's a wrong question.
I think and I have again this habit of haranguing people. And I'm not a film journalist, so I kept asking the person, what about retirement? And, you know, we are interviewers, we know when we are touching a raw nerve.
Yes, exactly.
And I saw a sense of discomfort.
Yeah.
So I dug my knife in it. And I,
You went further.
I went
Go for the kill.
jugular. I said, but what about retirement? Why not about retirement? I pushed it so many times that the person then ended up saying that I will never retire. I will continue on and I'll be like a candle in the wind, and he got philosophical about that. But you know,
I think I remember this interview.
you remember? And the Star wrote a blog after that on a .com. We used to call it those days, a .com, and said there's this stupid reporter who came to me and asked me these stupid questions. But you know, the fact is that you know, I think that what you've done, particularly the recognition you got last 10 years.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hats off to you. Can't
Thank
take
you
both
so
my
much.
hands off the
Thank
wheel.
you so much.
But what an amazing job. Tell me about that level of recognition. When did you know? When did you know? With no false sense of humility, Ricky. I know your mother is watching this. But no false sense of humility, Ricky. When did you know that I am doing something marvelous? I think it's important to say, I tell myself, by the way, before I go on every night, that I'm going to do a marvelous program. So I've got to motivate myself. Did you feel at some point of time that global recognition was on its way for you, that it was happening, it was destined to happen? Did you ever have a sense of destiny at any stage in your career, before the Grammy?
I would not say
before the first Grammy.
I would say not a sense of destiny, but while I was doing these commercials for television and radio, I was also making my own albums. Okay. And I think it was 2001 where I was signed up with an American label, that is Universal Music. Okay. And that is where I felt that, okay, my career is taking off somewhere, because I'm signed up with this international label and they're marketing my music. Ended up doing 15 albums with them, and over a period of years.
15 albums?
15 albums with them.
On like a contract?
On a contract, yeah.
Okay.
And then
how much time between each?
Usually about 1 or 2 albums a year. Sometimes one album, sometimes 2 albums a year. And they did a fabulous job of marketing it, putting it out there. But unfortunately, these albums were never released in India, because India is predominantly a film market, and people do not feel that, at least during that time, that music, especially instrumental music, the kind that I create, will actually work in India and people will actually listen to it.
That's so true, because Ricky, you know, up till you got your Grammy, I think you were better known outside India than in India.
Correct.
Right? We got to know you in the last, say, 10 years?
Yes, exactly.
9-10 years.
And that was also not because of the Grammy, because after I won my first Grammy, Prime Minister Modi called me to his for a meeting, for a quick photo op. And that quick photo op ended up being an hour-long discussion. And then he tweeted about me, and that is where people started recognizing me in India. And that is where people started actually...
Prime Minister loves you, right?
I mean that I'm really, really grateful for
He's
his
got a bond
love.
with you. He really has an affection for you.
No, and same with me, actually. I absolutely respect him, and I consider him to be a really important part of my musical journey and my musical career. He's been a thorough inspiration on me.
Wow, that's great. We feel the same way
Thank
about
you.
the Prime Minister. But can we just go back again
to
why you were better known outside India than in India?
So
what was going on?
If you look at, it's something that I would call, something that I've coined the Ravi Shankar syndrome, okay? The Pandit Ravi Shankar syndrome.
Yeah.
Now, everybody knows who Pandit Ravi Shankar was.
Oh, yeah.
Greatest sitarist ever, one of the greatest musicians ever in the history of India. Bharat Ratna winner, highest civilian honor. Daughter is Anushka, daughter is Nora Jones. But I challenge you this. Ask anybody in India, anybody on the street, name one album of his. Nobody can name an album of his. And that's the reason why he moved abroad, because probably he felt that he would get more respect for his pure Indian classical music outside of India than in India.
As a solo performer.
As a solo performer, or as collaborating with other people too. And it's not just with classical musicians, it's also with tribal and folk musicians. There are so many musical forms that predate Indian classical music, like tribal forms of music from different parts of India, whether it's Odisha, whether it is northern Andhra Pradesh, or Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, or even the Northeast or Jammu. And these musical forms have existed for thousands of years, and the songs have been passed on from generation to generation orally, and nobody's ever documented these songs. And these songs are in the threat of extinction right now. And that is something that I've been working very hard on, of trying to document these songs, meeting these folk musicians and recording them, so that at least the songs live on, because that's the thing about digital technology nowadays. If you have a song and it's on the internet, it's going to live forever.
Yeah.
You know, unless a comet or an asteroid hits the
So
planet.
that was fusion in your form. And was fusion that you were doing, was it fusion that you did before 2015?
Correct. It has always been fusion because I love bringing different cultures together. And it's not just like, you know, electronic music with Indian music, but it's Indian music with an African, let's say a Zulu African choir, or with a Dan Bao player from Vietnam, or a Celtic folk singer. I like bringing these different cultures together. I'll give you an example of that. I remember in 2016, there's this musician, a violin player in Algeria, who I was a huge fan of, and I'd seen him perform live at a festival and also seen him on the internet.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to collaborate with him.
Yeah.
So I flew to Algeria, and he only knew Arabic, and I know English and bits and pieces of Hindi, and it was very difficult for me to to communicate with him. And our reference points were so different that even sign language was not working. And it was a very frustrating experience for about 2 hours because I was not able to convey to him as to what I wanted. And even when I wrote notations, he could not read classical music. So when I was about to give up, I just started playing on the piano.
Okay.
And then he pulled out his violin and he just started reacting to my piano.
Yeah.
And we did that for about 1.5 to 2 hours, and that became a song on my album.
You recorded the
in
whole
Shanti
thing in a
Samsara.
professional environment?
In a professional environment. We just sat together, we were in the studio the whole time. And I just kept playing the piano, he just kept reacting to the piano, and it became a beautiful song.
Yeah.
And so I guess, bringing cultures together, communicating through music, showcasing how, music actually brings the world together.
Live performances?
Same thing with live performances. When I do, a lot of my live performances feature musicians from different parts of the world. A Vietnamese musician, a Ghanaian musician, a South African musician, a South American musician coming together, creating magic on stage. And it's amazing. And also I've got this other theory about my live performances, and you've seen one of mine at the Republic Conclave.
Yeah.
I only work, it's a secret that I have, I only work with musicians who are better than me. So every single musician who is on stage with me is a better musician than me. And that is a very, very strong principle that I follow, because that's the only way I can
How
grow.
do you define better than music?
A person who can improvise better than me, a person who has got better musical theory knowledge than me, or a person who has got more experience than me. So these are the kind of musicians that I love working with.
Yeah.
And I end up learning from them, and more importantly, they make me look good,
I think you're fantastic. I think you bring together an incredible tapestry, a wonderful melange that is a rare gift. And it's like, I would say, Zubin Mehta, the keyboards, the present day environment, the London Philharmonic,
Yeah.
the Elvis Presley vibe.
All blended together.
All put together.
No,
And
but-
there is something about live music that just I find so uplifting.
At least AI is not going to steal that job
No, you
of
can't do
musicians.
that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't do that. I was telling you before we got into the shoot
Yeah.
that I have found music my go-to in my most sort of solitary moments.
Yeah.
So when I was a student in the UK, I didn't have many friends, and I landed up in Oxford, which was academically very, very competitive environment.
Absolutely.
And I had deep academic insecurity
Yeah.
that I will not do well in my exams. So I
Yeah.
remember in those moments I went, and those only cassettes were
Yes,
there.
at that
CDs
time.
had not come.
Correct.
Because I'm a few years older to you. So we had...
No, I also
we
lived
had-
during
we
that
had-
time.
We had cassettes.
Yeah.
This is 90s. And
Yeah.
I remember I went and came back very proudly with a Radiohead cassette.
Okay.
And the rewind button.
Yes.
there. And I would know exactly how to rewind to the first
that
note,
point, yeah.
first note of Radiohead and the creep.
Yeah.
And I don't know, some songs just lift you up, and I like songs that are a mix of soulful and at the same time very strong lyrics.
No, and Radiohead's Creep is the best song for introverts because it actually defines what an introvert is,
Thank you. Thank you.
And I know that-
Ricky Kej just called me introvert.
No,
absolutely true.
I
And
believe
can
that you're
tell
an
you,
introvert,
I believe I am an introvert. And I believe that if you have ever got to understand what an introvert is,
Yes.
you've got to put your own picture over the over the soundtrack of Creep.
Creep, yeah, absolutely.
What's your favorite?
No, I mean that if you talk about Radiohead, I love Creep a lot, but my favorite song of theirs is Street Spirit.
Yes.
It's a beautiful song, beautiful melody, very good guitar playing.
Yeah.
And I've been a huge fan of Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan growing up.
Yes.
Ustad Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. In fact, for me, I've got a moment, when I was in the 6th standard in school in Bangalore. Again, we had cassette tapes and we had Walkman.
Yeah.
And I remember a friend of mine brought his Walkman to me, put headphones on my head and played me a song called Tadhim from an album called Night Song, which Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan did with Peter Gabriel's record label.
Yes.
And I listened to that song. It was a 6-minute song. And I started getting tears in my eyes when I was listening to it. And I was wondering, I'm not happy, I'm not sad, why am I getting these tears in my eyes? And then I realized that I had something known as a spiritual moment,
Yeah.
where my primitive brain could not understand the beauty of this music. And I was having an overwhelming experience, so overwhelming that my body, the only reaction that it could have is just putting out tears, in my eyes.
Wow.
And that is the moment when I realized, because I was already playing music by then, that is the moment when I realized that I want to have this effect on other people.
Yeah.
And I want to be a professional musician.
Yeah.
And music has always been a part of me. Like even when I'm talking to you right now, there's sort of like a background score that is being composed along with me. When you put on the indicator, the tuck, tuck, tuck sound, that is a rhythm for me. So everything in my life is about music. Nature is about music. Everything, So music defines me.
Wow. I think that's true. You can play a soundtrack over almost everything.
Correct.
And I think music has this ability. Music would have the impact of amplifying
Your mood.
Your mood.
Correct.
Or changing a visual.
Yes.
I think the same visual with different sets of music would, like if you're looking at the road ahead,
Yes.
with it, the music would define our mood and define the moment.
That is the beauty of doing scores for movies,
Yep.
That you could have a comedy soundtrack and people would have a completely different impression as to what is going on screen.
Yeah.
And you could have like a dramatic soundtrack and people would feel like, okay, something's going to happen now,
Yeah.
So,
I just want to tell you, Ricky, that it's really wonderful to be driving around with you.
Oh,
This is an unusual
same here.
start to my day. Rather than a business meeting or even an editorial meeting, I'm truly enjoying this. And
I'm
think
enjoying it
that's
thoroughly.
Fantastic to be with you because I think you're such an authentic person and that's important. I find that to be the most important quality in people. The first thing I see in people when I meet them is, are you comfortable with who you are? Or are you constantly pretending to be someone else? And I find authenticity to be a very important thing. I was a great fan of the great actor Irfan.
Yeah.
And what I admired in him deeply was his absolute authenticity,
Yep.
the way he was. There was no pretense.
Absolutely.
Absolutely no pretense. Once he came on my program on an issue regarding fundamentalism and he took on the fundamentalists in a way that got him into controversy. But he didn't change his line.
Yeah.
He just was happy with what he was. He couldn't give a damn about what people thought. And I think that's so important. Now, is it possible to remain authentic as a public personality, a performer, a celebrity like you? Is it possible to remain authentic or?
It depends actually, because if somebody wants to be a part of the mainstream industry and and appeal to billions of people all over the world, then it becomes difficult to be authentic simply because you have to reach out to a large audience. You cannot alienate a part of an audience, and so then sometimes you have to pander. Sometimes you have to have a one-size-fits-all approach to your art itself. So your art itself cannot be authentic to yourself because you're constantly thinking about what other people want you to make.
Add in a popular element.
And a popular element and things like that. And you have to look at current trends. Whereas for me, I create music which is of a niche genre. So I create music that I like. And then for me, the struggle is to find people who agree with me and people who like my music. You know? So for people who create niche forms of art and who create niche forms of music, I think it's much easier to be authentic. I try to be authentic with my art form, with my music, with the styles of music that I create, and also in the way that I speak, when I speak publicly or when I do interviews.
Pick up an issue, like sustainability, for example. What makes you pick up one issue? You are also I think a UN ambassador.
A goodwill ambassador.
Goodwill ambassador on sustainability.
Correct.
What do you have to do for that? And why did you pick that up?
So I've always been two things in my life. I've always been a musician and an environmentalist ever since I remember.
Yeah.
So I don't remember a time in my life when I was not playing a musical instrument, and I was an environmentalist before I even knew what the meaning of the word environmentalist was. And I remember while growing up, we had a home which was in the middle of nowhere, and we had a whole lot of creepy crawly animals that would enter our home on a regular basis.
Yeah.
As you said with your campus,
Yeah.
we would have snakes entering our home, we
Yeah.
would have lizards and chameleons and frogs and
Yeah.
rodents and insects. So I would see personality in every single animal when I would see them, and
Oh, wow.
I would not run away from them. I would be drawn towards these animals. And as a child, in fact, I felt that I liked hanging around with animals more than I did with people.
Yeah.
And I guess that was the beginning stages of my environmentalism.
Yeah.
And later on, I found out what climate change was, and then I started reading about it, understanding it really well. And today, the only kind of music that I make is about, it's about sustainability and various social causes around that.
Yeah.
And that's the only kind of music that I make. That's the only kind of art that I'm interested in,
Yeah.
about giving out a message on this.
Yeah.
But in the most entertaining way.
Yeah.
And so that's why I try to stay authentic to myself, where I only speak about topics that I feel strongly about. I don't mince my words when I talk. When I admire somebody, I absolutely admire them. When I don't admire somebody, I don't talk about them. So I try to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah, that's so important. In a flashback,
Yeah.
Now I'll talk about the professional and the personal, right?
Yeah.
In a flashback, your personal, on the personal side, which is the one flashback moment which means the most to you?
On a personal side, so
Yeah.
it's very difficult for me to differentiate between my personal life and my professional life, because both of them are one and the same. But I would say, when we spoke about Stuart Copeland and we spoke about doing the album with him, that is Divine Tides.
Yeah.
Now this happened during the pandemic, and the album, we worked together for about a year making the album.
Yeah.
We got nominated for a Grammy Award in 2022,
Yeah.
and I'd not even met him in person, because that was how the pandemic was. And during that time, I was going through a huge personal crisis, and he was sort of advising me through it. And we both had become very, very close. I would call him a father figure, but he would say more like an older brother, because he's got children who are older than me. And then we had to go to Las Vegas for the actual Grammys. And that was the first time I actually met him, and I hugged him for the first time. And that was, I think, a deeply personal moment for me, because after having gone through that entire album, going through the pandemic together, speaking to each other every single day,
Going through your
becoming
own
so close,
emotional tribulations with
going
him.
through my own emotional tribulations through him, and actually meeting him for the first time in person, hugging him.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful moment for me, and I'll never forget that moment. And usually when you collaborate with somebody on such a close level, you don't want to work with them again. That's how it normally is. And on both sides, we ended up doing another 2 albums together. We've done concerts together. So I consider him to be a very important part of my life.
Yeah.
And that was a beautiful moment for me, the first time when I actually hugged him in person.
What's more meaningful to you, the 3 Grammys or the Padmashri?
100% without a doubt the Padmashri. Because the Grammys, of course, it's the biggest music award on the planet. But it's given to you for a particular project.
Right.
And also it's an American award. Even though it's said to be like the Olympics of music and it's an international award, it's at the end of the day an American award. And I'm very grateful for the Grammys, there's no doubt about it. But the Padmashri is about a lifetime of doing what I'm doing, of art. And also given to me by India and by the President of India in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. It was a beautiful moment, and I remember receiving the award. Of course, the announcement is made during the Republic Day, and it was amazing to hear that I had won that award, and receiving the award from the President. And I remember walking up to the President, and I saw Prime Minister Modi seated right there. So I was compelled to walk up to him and touch his feet and get his blessings before I actually received the award. And I remember, you could see that on YouTube, that when I went to touch his feet, his SPG, security guard got up immediately, thinking that what's going on over there.
How did the Prime Minister react?
No, he immediately gave me his blessings, and I've met him many times before that. So, at least I would like to think that we share a beautiful relationship. And then I went and I collected my award for the President. She congratulated me, and my mother was there too, to accompany me for that award. She was super proud. And another funny incident that happened over there is that after we win the award, the Prime Minister meets all of the relatives of the award winners, and then he meets all the award winners. So he met all the relatives, and then when he met the award winners, he comes to me, he holds my hand with both his hands, and he tells me, तेरी मम्मी अभी मिली मुझे वहाँ पर,
अच्छा,
और वो चिल्लाकर बोल रही थी कि मैं रिकी की माँ हूँ. So I started laughing, and then he told me that ऐसा ही गर्व होना चाहिए माता पिता को. You know, parents need to have that kind of pride in their children.
Yeah.
And I loved that he told me that. It felt really good. And then when I told my mom that, she was thrilled. You know that.
Isn't that the most satisfying moment for any parent to be able to say कि मैं Ricky की माँ हूँ? You know, that is, I would say, Ricky, that probably out of all your Grammys and your Padmashri,
Yeah.
let me tell you, elder brother style, that probably that is your biggest achievement.
No,
in
right.
life.
True.
That your mother goes to the Prime Minister of India and says, मैं Ricky की माँ हूँ. That is well done, Ricky.
No, I'm actually tearing up right now when you're
that
saying that. It's
that
beautiful.
is a beautiful
Yeah,
moment.
It
That is all your life's achievements rolled into one,
Yeah.
right? That you can be a worthy child.
Yeah.
You know, and that's so important for you, you know. And I feel that, I feel you're an inspiring kind of person, you know.
No, thank you so much. And in my professional life, I would say that, of course, winning my first Grammy award,
Yeah.
that was quite amazing, because I remember after my name was announced, and something about the Grammys is that the only time you can come to know whether you won the Grammy award or not is when the celebrity actually opens up the envelope and announces your name at the ceremony.
Yeah.
So sitting down in the ceremony, and they say, and the nominees are, and they announce the nominees.
Were you anticipating?
I was hoping, but not anticipating.
Okay.
And when they called out my name, of course, I jumped up and I went up on stage, collected the award, gave my acceptance speech. But all that I was thinking in my mind, and I remember that so clearly, that now nobody can stop me from making music till the day I die, you know. So this award will ensure that, you know, and give me the ability to make music till the day I die. And that was amazing. And I felt that now, you know, I can do whatever I love doing.
Yeah.
And it was a pat on the back. And another, I would say, even more important moment in my life was in 2019, I got to do a concert for our Indian Army at, in Ladakh to celebrate 20 years of Kargil Divas. And the Army had invited me to do this performance, so it was a beautiful stage because mountains on all four sides, the Shanti Stupa was my backdrop, and 12,000 soldiers in uniform were my audience, and over an hour concert.
Yeah.
It was absolutely beautiful, and I remember it was about 8 or 9 days before Section 370 was declared.
1 second, we take a turn.
Yeah,
here.
let's take a turn.
Okay, let's take a turn here.
Oops.
And let's slowly start heading back. Are you liking this part of the country where I'm taking you?
Yeah, nice.
Okay. So, sorry, I've created a bit of a traffic jam on this turn.
That's all right.
Yeah, so you know, Ricky, what you told me when you got the Grammy, you felt that nobody can stop you from making music till the time you die.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a similar feeling I have. I mean, you know, one of the reasons people said, you were an anchor, you were an editor, you ran a good channel, you were doing well, why did you launch a network?
Yeah.
I said, just because, so that I can't be sacked. Because I have this perennial fear of being sacked, because I'm a very sackable kind of guy. I'm not an easy guy for anyone to get along with.
But I think you must be your own toughest boss, I'm very sure.
I am very tough with myself. I am very frighteningly tough with myself, and I have this punishing schedule, and I keep demanding more of myself.
Correct,
and
and you must be having very high standards for yourself, for sure.
Oh God, and I try to implement it on everyone else, and therefore I have reached the point of being sacked on many occasions.
Wow.
So one of the reasons I used to work very hard to get ratings, so that I couldn't be sacked, you know. And so, in my last job, the last job I ever did, I hope, till I launched Republic, the choice was between resigning and getting sacked. It came so close that I almost felt as if, you know, the owners of the Times of India group would they sack me first, or would I sort of resign first? And I chose to quit. Anyway, I'm talking too much today, I guess. Did we have too much coffee? Because we are both non-alcoholic, I can assure you. And we are driving completely sane.
Two introverts.
On this weekday morning, two introverts. God, But you know, this is the story that if you can continue to do your work
Yes.
and do it well
Yes.
for the rest of your life
On your own terms.
on your own terms, that means it's your biggest achievement. in
Correct.
life.
Correct.
And I have a friend, a very, very, very close friend. He lives in Kolkata. I won't name him. Great guy, self-made person. And I asked him once, so what are you doing these days and what are you enjoying the most? And he said that the biggest gift that I can give myself and the best thing that I have earned in life, my life's biggest wealth, is the time I have for myself and I can choose what to do with my
Yeah.
time. I'm also looking forward to a day when I can choose what to do with my time and do what I think is worth my time, because very
Yes.
often we end up doing things because of commercial reasons
Yes.
or financial reasons or whatever reasons, right?
Correct.
And do you ever think that what would be, so I want to wrap up with this question to you, Ricky, that if I were to ask you, what would it be if you had no encumbrances on yourself and no liabilities on you and no responsibilities in that traditional sense, and if you were to just be free to do what you want with your time,
Yeah.
right, for an undefined period of time, what is it that you would do? And how would you do it in as much specific detail as possible in this episode of The New Business of Life?
So I think it's very difficult for me to answer that question because I'm really loving my life right now.
Yeah.
I really love what I do. I get to do these concerts all over the world. As I mentioned, last year was over 70 concerts. This
Yeah.
year I've already touched about 50. Doing what I love doing, performing at all these venues all over the world, which I love performing at.
Yeah.
You know, and getting to make the music that I love making. So I guess, it's very difficult for me to imagine myself in any other position than I am in right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm not interested in being a major celebrity or something like that. I do not want to be a major influencer. I just want to continue making the music that I love. And right now there is, I believe that I'm becoming a better musician with every year. My career is getting better with every year, because who would have imagined? I never imagined that at the age of 33 I would actually win a Grammy award.
Wow.
Because the Grammys itself was an unattainable dream. It wasn't even a dream, of mine. And then winning that Grammy when it wasn't even a goal, it wasn't a goal that I could ever dream to imagine, and winning that when I was 33. So it's impossible for me to make up these things, or make
Yeah.
up any plans. So I just go with the flow and I try to do the best I can with my music. And I'm very glad that I'm able to make the music that I want to make.
Yeah. And who do you thank the most in your life?
I guess my parents, even though my parents did not want me to be a musician,
Yeah.
I have to be extremely grateful to them. For one thing, even though they made me do 5 years of a degree which I never ended up using.
Yeah.
But the thing is that my parents had money, okay? And even though I never had to take money from them for my musical career was completely self-made, they gave me the gift of privilege, where I could make decisions in my musical career which were very risky, like not getting into Bollywood or not getting into commercial music and things like that. Because I knew that if I fail, what's the worst that can happen? I just have to go crying to my parents and ask them for money,
Yeah.
And food would always be on the table. I would always have a roof over my head. So I guess they allowed me to be a huge risk taker and get into this very niche career that I am in right now. So I'm very grateful to them for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ricky, my last wrap-up question to you. And do you see the amount of greenery out here to left and right?
Yes.
Isn't this fabulous? This place we live in, so underpopulated. You see a lot of nature around you.
Yes.
I particularly like this.
Yeah.
I love this drive. Every morning when I come to work, I love this drive. I love the sense of space
Correct.
and openness. It lets me think. So sorry, I took a little detour in the conversation, but Ricky, in the new business of life, this episode, I want to wrap it up with one life lesson that you want to give someone, right? Who would want to be broadly around your area or in your career, right? The world of music, performing arts, if I may say so.
Yes.
Performing arts. What would that be? What is the life lesson you've learned from being a performing musician, a creator of music, an artist? What is a life lesson that you can share which goes beyond your genre and your line of work?
I would say that social responsibility is very important.
Yeah.
That's the one strong message that I would like to give, because nowadays we face so many problems on our planet, whether the environmental problems like climate change or, air pollution or plastics pollution, and so many social problems, which are all interrelated. I believe that, the biggest threat to us, as a species is, this thought that we have that somebody else has to make a difference. It's not my responsibility. Like governments or intergovernmental bodies or corporations need to make a difference. When, the truth is that the only way we can bring about meaningful change is if we change our own behaviors.
That's true.
But the problem is that we've made ourselves believe that we are very insignificant, that if I stop using plastics, what difference
won't
will
make
it
a
make?
big difference.
It does not make a big difference. Or right now we are driving in an emission-free vehicle,
Yeah.
Like, what difference will it make if I reduce my dependence on fossil fuels?
True.
But it does make a huge difference. And how do we encourage everybody to believe that, that we can be the change that we want to see in this world? We can make 1,000 speeches like I'm doing right now, or we can showcase a ton of scientific data and analytics, which is very important, but it will not make any difference. What is needed is for performing artists and musicians to take these complex ideas and thoughts and to simplify it through the emotional language of music and arts and storytelling, like what you do. And and I guess when you hit people emotionally and you hit their hearts and souls, that is what will bring about meaningful change, and that is what will encourage people to bring about change. So I think every performing artist, every storyteller, every person in the media, I feel that should dedicate some amount of time to to causes that they themselves believe strongly in, and drive those messages in a very, very beautiful and an emotional way. That's what I believe needs to happen.
Well, that's beautiful, and that's a lovely note to wrap up this on. We're almost there in our studio.
Yes.
So I just want to say, Ricky, it's an honor to know you.
Oh, honor to know you.
It's a privilege to know you, and I relate to you a lot. I relate to you a lot, and I relate to your upbringing a lot.
Thank you.
I too have been very lucky to have very, very, very attentive and committed and loving parents, and I believe family matters.
Yeah.
I'm also very.
And I
much
met your mother. I had the pleasure
Yes.
to spend some time with her.
Yes.
She's such a
Yes.
wonderful woman.
Yes, yes. So I think this has been a beautiful conversation, and I'm very lucky to have the first episode with you, Ricky.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I'm
you.
honored to be on the
Thank
first
you.
episode.
Thank you. I hope I was okay on the wheels.
It was good fun.
Seeing my average speed is 40, and in Wren and Martin, I'll wrap up with this. In Wren and Martin ICSC, there was an essay about a car going at the royal speed of 40. I remember that essay, and since then I am loyally wedded to the royal speed of 40. My max is 60. So the only danger if you're driving around with me is that you'll get hit from the back. Otherwise, you're safe.
So no road rage with Arnab Goswami.
No rage with Arnab. Thank you,
Goswami.
Ricky.
Thank
It's
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ricky. I must say it's a very nice car to drive. So Ricky, this is fantastic. We're here. And as we return to the Republic campus, I just want to wrap up this episode. Let's switch this off. Yeah. Wrap up
the car is off.
Wrap up this episode of I just want to wrap up this episode of Mercedes-Benz brings you the new business of life by saying that this has been a learning for me.
Yeah.
And I think I've got my theme for the rest of the series is to meet
That's great.
inspiring people like you and get that one takeaway about what makes them marvelous.
Wow.
And what makes them distinct. For me, the biggest lesson in talking to Ricky has been that the one trait is of humility and authenticity. And that is a trait, whether you're in the corporate world, performing arts or media, will never take away, but only add to your shine.
Wow, I'm
So
very
thank you,
grateful.
Ricky. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing this for us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen. See you on the next episode.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मम्मा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरे राजा।
Some places feel like they've been waiting for you, where every piece speaks of legacy, from diamonds that celebrate ambition to festive gold that honors tradition. LD Sons.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी, चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा, आर प्योर मसाला। MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
India is all set to conduct a large-scale tri-services military exercise named
Ladies and gentlemen, in the spirit of forces first, let's start this bulletin with a fantastic video coming in from the Indian Army, which is set to participate in the 11th edition of the annual India-Sri Lanka exercises Mitra Shakti with the Sri Lankan Army at the Foreign Nations Training Node in Belagavi from November 10 to 23rd. Exercise Mitra Shakti 2025 aims to enhance operational synergy between the two armies of India and Sri Lanka by conducting joint operations from urban and semi-urban terrain. The exercise underscores the shared commitment of India and Sri Lanka towards regional peace, security, while further strengthening defense cooperation, camaraderie, mutual trust between our two forces. Take a look. All right, let's also take a quick look at the video coming in from the Western Command, where under the aegis of the Southern Command, massive exercises are going on. This is a video of river crossing exercises of the Indian Armed Forces, and take a look as this video once again will swell you with a lot of pride.
India is combat ready. Western Command said that the Kharga warriors of Ram Division practiced and validated mechanized flotation and flawless bridging during a high-tempo river crossing exercise.
Ladies and gentlemen, India's 2611 warrior lawyer Dayan Krishnan breaks his silence. He reveals how Tahawur Rana was finally extradited after 15 years of legal battle by India in the US courts. He also reveals how strong Modi diplomacy was critical in Rana's extradition. Tahawur Rana gave David Coleman Headley cover, money and fake identity to plan the 2611 Mumbai attack. From his office in Chicago, he helped Headley pose as a businessman while scouting targets in Mumbai. Listen in to this very intriguing conversation.
Sir, Tahawur Rana, Pakistani-born Canadian, brought back to India, mastermind of 2611 as we're calling him, all because of the efforts that you put in. You stormed in the United States, every court. Tell us about the struggles that you started off there with.
See, I'll tell you, we have been trying to extradite Rana from 2010. There have been a lot of ups and downs between us and the Department of Justice, which is the controlling body who deals with all this in the US. At least on 3 rounds of negotiations earlier, they refused to even look at my, my request. And in between, they raised the issue of double jeopardy when I told them that, it just doesn't apply. And I made a very detailed opinion. My then junior Manvi Priya was with me, and I decided, okay, let's give them an entire analysis of Indian law. And we prepared almost 3 days. We took off from court and prepared this. This was, I think, in 2013 or 2014. But, things were, I think the Americans were unnecessarily resisting at that time. And diplomatically also, I felt India was not that powerful as it probably is today. In 2018, many things changed. First, the NIA IG at that time, Mr. Singh, who is now the DG CRPF, the brilliant officer, and his deputy Sanjukta Parasar started working very closely with me to try and get a breakthrough.
Right.
We invited the American team here, which was led by Mr. Mark Teletoki, who I have a great regard for, and I believe is one of the reasons why Rana is back. Mr. Teletoki was the equivalent of a JAG. He was in the US Army and then joined the, he was the head of the overseas department of the Department of Justice. And when he finally accepted my opinion to say that yes, it is worth extraditing this man. And then both Sanjukta and I went to the US. We sat there and prepared the extradition request in a manner which they believed would be presentable to a US court. Then the process started.
This was in which year?
This was 2018. So 2018, the US government accepted that they would file it in the extradition request. And it was important because Rana was finishing his sentence there.
Right.
And he could have gotten away.
Right.
And if he had been released, he would have just disappeared in thin air. Then what happened was that the first levels of extradition started. He fought us hard there. But our teams were also very good. There was a brilliant lawyer of the Department of Justice, Kerry Monaco, who was with me throughout this journey. Mr. Teletoki, of course, retired and he was replaced by other leaders of that department. But what I really liked about the Department of Justice colleagues who worked with us was that they were equally committed as I was to bring this man back. He, of course, I was the expert evidence which India led, and he brought a barrister from the UK. Fortunately for us that we read our papers, and the poor barrister probably didn't, because his opinion was based basically on dissenting judgments.
Oh gosh.
And of course on TT interpretation, which I had my own version and he had his own version. And I had the great benefit of one of my juniors, who is now of course an independent lawyer, Sanjeevi Sheshadri, who is absolutely outstanding in the area of international law. Right. Yeah. So with his help, we prepared what I believe was a waterproof case on the issue of the treaty interpretation, because everything, in an extradition, apart from this, the issue of double jeopardy, which was central to this, was on the interpretation of the Indo-US Treaty and two particular clauses of the Indo-US Treaty. I was happy that the trial court, which is the most important court there, accepted our point of view, and later the courts above all accepted our point of view. And as you know, the most important thing in those courts is paperwork.
Yes.
Oral advocacy is 4 or 5 minutes,
Yes.
which is basically done by the DOJ's counsel, but the entire written advocacy was basically prepared by us with the help with, of course, the DOJ, who dealt with American legal positions which governed it. But it was a great experience working with the Americans on the legal side. And as you know, when the extradition is accepted by courts, it is still a political issue. The Secretary of State has to certify it. Yes. But there was a tremendous diplomatic push by the government of India at that time, which really helped us get him back quick.
So you think it was galvanized diplomatically as well?
Yes, absolutely. I know it was. Yes. And I was very happy about that, because diplomatically the push was great. Legally, of course, we won it at every level, and that expedited his return.
Because it was his extradition ordered by the US court in 2023 May.
Yes.
But he continued to appeal. Yes. And the appeals also were in the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals, the US Supreme Court. Did you also have to give arguments or paperwork
everywhere?
There? Okay.
Everywhere.
Okay.
We had to give. And even to the Secretary of State, because he came out with absolutely bogus arguments. And I do not know how, without verification, a lawyer would put those kind of arguments saying, which included that a person of a particular community will not get a lawyer in India. Gosh. So there, of course, it is wrong. You see, our legal aid system is not, community-based, person-based, religion-based. And also, I gave my opinion on that basis the Supreme Court in Kasab, who had given some very senior lawyers. Mr. Raju Ramchandran was representing him as a legal aid lawyer. Right. So I said the man will be entitled to complete legal defense. And these statements and opinions are false. See, you can make statements which are, based on law or based on factual situations.
But I want to ask you, and I want our viewers to understand what you're saying. You've made it sound, it sounds very simple. 2018, we went there, did the paperwork. But this is so critical, because 26/11, 2010, this happens. And to have the paperwork so meticulously prepared that you're winning in US courts in 3 to 4 different courts is in itself a big feat.
See, there is a lot of work which goes behind it. There is a lot of investigative work. And I've had great officers working with me on this case, starting, of course, as I told you, with Mr. Swayam Prakash Pani and Mr. Sanjeev Singh, who unfortunately passed away, and Mr. Loknath Behra. 3 of these officers worked from day one on this. So our, paperwork was very good. Then came, after a long gap, Sanjukta Parasar, and Mr. Singh, GP Singh, of course, at a senior level, who also ensured that all paperwork was up to date. Yes. And later, when we were coming to the final push, I had the assistance of Mr. Ashish Batra, who was the IG there, who also is a very meticulous officer, you see. So it's always useful when you are meticulous in your work that the officers support you with that.
Can you give us examples of what was there in the investigation that helped us, which they were able to help you with?
See, that is now a matter of this trial.
Okay.
So I would like not to talk about it, because I don't want to talk about a pending case.
Right, I understand that. But I want to also tell our viewers that now Mr. Krishnan is leading the charge on him, the 26/11 plotter, in Indian courts to try and bring him to book here. But this is also something that I saw the press releases coming out from India at that time, when they said that they were very disappointed when certain US courts had rejected the appeals that were given out by us, because they said that we have already given evidence to them to show that he had helped Headley get visas and other people get visas into India.
No, but we had not lost in any US court.
They were disappointed possibly with the process, possibly at one time.
Probably the delay or whatever, but even then, going by extraditions and my experience in extraditions in other countries,
right,
particularly the UK, where I've done cases for the government of India, that the American system was far better, and really, helped us speed up. Now, as far as the trial in India is concerned, yes, the government has set up a team.
Yes.
It is supervised and headed by the Solicitor General of India.
Yes.
And I am in the team. And the NIA has also allowed me to have a trial team which will assist me.
Yes.
Which is, so under this, in the overall team, I will certainly work towards this.
He was a former military doctor. He was extradited. He was ferried back in that chartered flight. We all saw how he came back. In the interactions that you had with Tahavu Rana, what was his body language?
I have never had interactions with him. Okay. Never. Because we only fought him at every level. The first time I saw him was in the Special Judge's Court here.
Okay.
And to be honest, I did not want to have interactions with him. He asked me, "Are you Dayan Krishnan?" I said yes. And that was it. I did not want to engage with him further.
Was he speaking to people around him?
Must be. To the investigators, yes. And later, of course, he's been interrogated in great detail.
Yes, he has. He's also being taken to Mumbai for the interrogation?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
They're obviously in the middle of all that.
QS and THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा.
Some places feel like they've been waiting for you, where every piece speaks of legacy, from diamonds that celebrate ambition to festive gold that honors tradition. LD Sons.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात.
वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरे राजा.
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी चाहे जो भी हो.
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता. टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, with you always.
Counterintelligence Kashmir carried out surprise searches at multiple locations across the valley. The raids were conducted in Kulgam, Shopian, Pulwama and parts of North Kashmir as part of an ongoing operation to monitor suspicious activities and verify inputs related to security. Searches were carried out simultaneously with the assistance of local police and other security agencies. During the searches, digital gadgets, including smartphones, laptops, pen drives, and some documents were seized for technical and forensic examination. The operation is preventive in nature and is a part of the ongoing efforts to ensure that anti-national networks do not regroup or operate in these areas. Yesterday, the Counterintelligence Kashmir conducted similar surprise raids at multiple jails across the valley. The searches were conducted in coordination with the prison authorities.
India is all set to conduct a large-scale tri-services military exercise named Exercise Thrishul along the western border near the disputed Sir Creek area. This exercise will involve the Army, Navy and Air Force and is being called unprecedented in both scale and operational complexity. Satellite images analyzed by defense experts show that the airspace reserved for the exercise will extend up to 28,000 feet. This is unusual for a routine military drill and indicates the seriousness with which India is approaching this operation. The exercise will run from October 30 to November 10. Under the umbrella of Exercise Thrishul, India's armed forces are set to conduct joint operations across diverse terrains, from offensive maneuvers in the Sir Creek and desert sectors to amphibious drills off the Saurashtra coast and multi-domain.
Welcome to Startup Park by IQ Ventures, Bengaluru's groundbreaking innovation hub dedicated to empowering startups from inception to global scale. The launch event brought together an inspiring array of special guests who added immense value to the occasion. Entrepreneur and investor Ashneer Grover shared insights from his journey, inspiring founders to boldly pursue disruptive ideas. D.K. Shivakumar, Karnataka's Deputy Chief Minister, reaffirmed the state's commitment to growing a world-class startup ecosystem. Actor and philanthropist Sonu Sood recounted his humanitarian work